The human family has been imbued with a cognizance which has forever been utilized commonly, and therefore so blindly and frequently, to the capacity that has been catastrophically misunderstood as something fundamental. And this is the misconception of getting old. As time is indeed a sacred reality, the human being has no concept of when he or she will be removed physically from the earth and onto the following state of existence, which is all hoped to have been prepared as an ordained precondition. And thus, the reality of life unto the death state is in fact unknown to each living human being in regards to time, in spite of how long the organism has had its place and ventured time upon the planet, according to the fallacy of mankind's conceit of asserting to know when each human organism will cease to function effectively for the preservation of the living journey individually. When a human being's time upon the earth is appealed, this is the ordainment of what is known and understood as destiny and therefore purpose. This has not the association of how long the human being will live upon the planet according to what has been implemented as old or young. This is the reality of being made, present until God sees fit that the individual human being to be a functioning actuality, until they are ordained to be a non-present state of existence physically upon this beautiful earth. We are present, and a non-present reality in fact, as this has not the insinuation of when one is in danger of passing on because of this asserted contention of being perceived as old. The creator of all functioning realities is blessed with time as an inviolable actuality. We are present, and then we are non-present physically, however leaving behind an impact and effect upon those who loved us, who knew of our existence, and even those who did not come in contact with us, but only have the knowledge of our journey by way of those in whom were affected by our time of presence, based upon principles of action, in accords to our behaviors towards the world in regards to human relationship. We are ordained to be present, and then non-present. This simple truth has not the necessity of the implication of the old and young ideology. This is said because an ideology is a declaration of transparency, when what is sacred can never be a transparent actuality. The fundamental function of life and death is being present and then being non-present. You may ask, how can one exist as a non-present if their organism has met its ending upon the earth? As what was said before, by way of the impact which each human being has made upon humanity, and therefore human relationship based upon principles of action towards the human family. This in effect make them present, though they are physically non-present. Being what is called missed is the impact of the absence of the person whom was in your living experience that caused your relationship with them to be pleasant, loving, or even convenient in regards to attachment, in hoping that they will always be present as long as we are present to service each other's emotional and psychological needs for the preservation of our individual rationality. We are present inside of the earthly experience, and then we are non-present. We are not old nor young. Those are assertions of mankind, which has adulterated the pure connotation of the human mentality, causing a fear which was never created inside of the human family. Old and young is a taught affirmation which cause a weight upon the mentality of the human family, as well as the of mocking those who fit into this fallacy, which has insidiously affected the human family's intellectual state of belief and therefore function. Written by David Anthony Brayboy. We are present inside of the earthly experience, and then we are non-present. We are not old nor young. Those are assertions of mankind, which has adulterated the pure connotation of the human mentality, causing a fear which was never created inside of the human family. old and young is a taught affirmation which cause a weight upon the mentality of the human family, as well as the of mocking those who fit into this fallacy, which has insidiously affected the human family's intellectual state of belief and therefore function. David Anthony Brayboy. The function of this is the revelation of the effects of this assertion. The mind was not created with having the programming of instinctively knowing of the young or old dogma. This was taught through a deliberate implication for the sake of effect after the cause has been imposed. This was therefore programmed by way of the culture of education, leading to a common conviction which has through the centuries been blindly embraced and supported by the human family, who have submitted to this manner of thinking with the intent of giving clear identification of themselves, a partisanship. We come in time to see that even of the Bible, the implication Old Testament is made a testimony of a time recorded that is not taken as seriously as the New Testament. The New Testament has never been referred to as the Young Testament, but the New. This is brought into subject because both historical accounts are of the same 6,000 years of the history of the earth. One cannot exist with substance and essence without the other, and thus they are in fact the same, rather asserted of being old or discredited, as if there is a necessity for the new being created of more importance, when without what is implied and maintained as old, has no more vitality inside of the same human journey. The human family equates young with new, as this is a dangerous and subtle form of ignorance. This has in time caused a manner of disrespect for our elderly community, as the youth activate as if they will never experience becoming of the same condition, when they both are of the same movement. The aging process begins the moment the human being is pulled from the womb of his or her mother. This is a natural design and function, but never was meant to be an identity crisis. The reality is, we are present upon the earth for a given amount of time, and then we become in time non-present. That is the reality in spite of the dogma of being considered young or old, written by David Anthony Brayboy.